Hi, it's Justin from CanadaWhips.com, and today we're going to be talking about practicing inside. If you're like me and you live in a place where it snows for 4 or 5 months of the year, it can be difficult to get out and practice year-round. The whips, if they're leather, will get wet and that could damage them. If they're nylon, the whips will get wet and that makes them heavy and harder to use. Maybe you live in a place where it's super windy and the wind pushes the whip around, so it's harder to get perfect cracks, or maybe you live in a city and you don't want to crack on the concrete or bother people that are around you. There's lots of reasons why you might not be able to crack outside. And so this video is going to show you 3 different ways where you can practice inside and keep whip cracking year-round. The first and most obvious strategy for practicing inside is just to get a smaller set of whips. This is a set of 4-foot bullwhips made by Ronald Boudreau of North Bay, Ontario. I really like these because they're small, but they still get a really good crack. Normally I'll practice with these whips throughout the winter in my garage. I have a lot of open space, so I can practice different two-handed tricks, and I definitely know when I'm getting the cracks because these whips are really loud. This is another set of short whips that I have that were made by Sylvia Rosat. I like these because they're a lot lighter. The cracks aren't as loud, and that means they're better for practicing in an area that has people around. Maybe if you live in an apartment, something like this would be a good idea. For me, I use these in this room, which is kind of our open space room, and that way I can practice without annoying my housemates. The smallest whip I have is this little snapper made by Paul Nolan. It's a small snake whip made of kangaroo leather that actually cracks. I like this whip a lot because not only does it not take a lot of space to use, it doesn't take a lot of space to store. I could put it in my pocket if I wanted to. So I use this sometimes to practice just if I know I'm going maybe to a bus stop or something and I'm gonna have some time to practice, but I need to have a whip with me. So that's what I use. Strategy number 2 is to get yourself just some handles. I like to use handles to practice because I don't need very much space at all, and I'm also not going to make any noise. I'll use my handles and maybe I'll watch a video and I'll just try and copy what the handles of the other person are doing. So for example, when I was learning Adam Winrich's routine, the Orient Express, I slowed it down and I was tracking his handles with my handles like this. And that was how I was able to learn that routine while it was cold outside and I couldn't practice. Also, it's important to practice with these maybe in front of a mirror, or in this case, I'm looking into the viewfinder of my camera. That way, I can be sure that my handle is pointing the right way and doing exactly what I want it to do. So this is a good way of learning different routines, learning different cracks, and just practicing inside without making any noise. I should also mention it doesn't have to be just whip handles. Before I had those made, I was using these juggling clubs. You could use a pencil, you could use sticks, you could use your toothbrush if you wanted to. The main idea is having a firm object like this in your hand that you can use and pretend it's a handle to learn different tricks. The last strategy is one that I learned when I visited Australia. Basically, you're going to practice your whip cracking without whips or handles. And every time the whip is supposed to crack, you're going to replace it with a snap. This is a really great way to practice because you're able to hear what the routine sounds like without actually doing it. So you can practice like this. When you get your whips out, you'll be able to tell if you're doing it properly because it'll have the same rhythm as you're snapping. So there you go. There's 3 different ways that you can practice inside when the weather isn't being super nice. My name's Justin. Thanks for watching this video. And if you want to learn more about whips and whip cracking, check out our website at CanadaWhips.com.